For this project, we decided to look into rammed earth. Rammed earth is just as it sounds, taking the soil from around the building site and molding it into a structure using downward force and water. Because of the simplicity of the design and the low environmental impact, we were interested in finding out why rammed earth is unpopular as a modern building material and wanted to find out what it would take to build our own sample wall. This simple technique has been used for thousands of years in construction, but has only recently become popular as a modern alternative building material. The earliest evidence of rammed earth dates back to 5000 BCE in China, and the longest standing structure is roughly 8,000 years old. Rammed earth has been used in well-known historical structures like the Tower of Babel and the Great Wall of China. So why is it not a conventional building material today? Well, concrete is closely related to rammed earth, but is 10 times less expensive if the proper soil ratios for rammed earth cannot be found on site. Other issues with rammed earth are there is not enough modern research for professional contractors, and the soil is not mass-produced like concrete. Finding good soil that works for it can be difficult if you are not in the proper climate. Large amounts of proper soil is needed. It has a low R value of 0.4 per inch. Standard wall thickness is almost a foot thick as opposed to concrete, which should only be 6 inches thick. There is no room for mistakes when building a wall. It takes time to get approved in small layers, as it is an alternative building method, and it has to be continually waterproofed every couple of years.
Although there are cons to rammed earth, there are also many pros too. It is great for off-grid living. Its walls are a good thermal mass which retain heat during the day and slowly release it at night. It is easy to work with and can be built with little to no experience. It stands the test of time. The average stick frame home has a lifespan of around 50 years, and a rammed earth house can easily sustain its integrity for 1,000 plus. It has high fire resistance, good soundproofing and pest control, and its moisture level is good for people with asthma and breathing problems. It could be an alternate for concrete and non-critical structures and is customizable with colors and shapes. For our own block that we made, we started off by locating areas where the correct soil contents could be found. From there, we collected samples of the various places and tested their soil ratios by filling a container halfway full of the sample dirt and the rest way with water. We would shake it up and let it settle for 2 to 3 days before we had to measure its soil ratios. This is the universal way people test for soil ratios in the construction of rammed earth. Once we found the sample that worked, we collected our soil for our brick, refined the soil of any rocks and debris, added a little bit of water, and began to tamp it down in our custom-made mold. We added red pigment in to give us a decorative stripe in the middle and capped it off with more soil. We released it from its mold, let it dry for several days, and then added it to its base. Although we had fun making the brick, the troubles we faced were understanding which each level consisted of in our soil ratio, and also how to reinforce our mold because our first one blew out.
We acquired a large amount of our information from the rammed earth block that is actually on PSU's campus that was part of a master's thesis. The block itself is crumbling due to the weather, but is still in good condition. Rammed earth isn't just for buildings and load-bearing walls. It's very versatile and can be used in designs for furniture and can be used in decorative settings. Instead of looking to the future for a solution, we should instead focus on what has worked in the past and how to develop these ideas further. Rammed earth buildings could be part of the solution for low-carbon, high-density housing. Once rammed earth becomes more common knowledge, it should be a perfect solution to the environmental building issues. Due to the cost it takes to make rammed earth, it's not commonly used in large sites. Its audience is set largely to rich environmentalists, even though it's been used for hundreds of years. In order to continue the use of this low-carbon construction, it needs to be brought into more mainstream architecture because rammed earth is the building material of the past, present, and future.